finishing up loading my second load of chores here. Got a big day ahead. Last week we had a lot of stuff on the list, didn't get it all done, so some of it got pushed into this week. One of those things was working the spring calves, getting them vaccinated, implanted, and get a fly tag on them, and cutting the bulls, and then we're going to haul them off, the pairs off to pasture. So we're hoping to get all that done today with about 30 pairs. Put away. There's also a litter of kittens living in the backside corner back there that I try to pet some days, but they're kind of wild. There's some heifers lined up nice. And then there's the last pin of cows to calve. We only have 2 cows left to calve. Here's pin 6. This is the pin we're going to sort out of to get grass steers. So they're getting kind of limit fed right now. And we'll take mostly black ones out of there to turn out on a quarter of grass. Okay, so the cows are all in eating. So I locked the gate for them to go out on Milo stocks. There's still calves out there we'll have to bring in. But I'm gonna push all these calves in out of this closing area. And then the cows, and most of the calves will be on the outside of this fence. And then we'll try to bait the calves and chase them in to here, this holding pen, and then we'll put them all together, and then we'll run them down up to the chute to sort them and work them. There's the firstborn one of the year. So he was born right at the end of February. You're really in a dumb spot, calf. If you just walk that way, you'd be safe. There you go. So there's number 1 born, number 23. That calf has really got things figured out. Figured out he can nurse right off the mama while she's eating. That calf's trying to eat ration. He wants to be a big boy. Gotta park the wagon and do a couple other things before we get them all down to the chute. So definitely kind of a big day ahead of us to get these worked and hauled to grass, but it's also an exciting day. It means we don't have to feed them forages anymore that we're paying for, you know, like you have to pay for the silage and the hay and using up your forages, which you get them out grazing, and they're doing what they were designed to do, which is eat grass and utilize that forage resource that Kansas has so much of to produce high quality beef. I'm not saying that we had to pay cash for our corn silage or our hay. We actually raise almost all of our hay, and we always raise all of our corn silage, but there's production expense in that, and so we can save that silage and hay to feed calves and feeder cattle, whereas we want to get the cows out to grass whenever we have enough grass and green grass to sustain the herd. So some people have a winter pasture and a summer pasture, and they calve on their winter pasture. Well, we don't have a pasture for that, so we use Milo stocks. So these cows have either been on Milo stocks or at the bunks eating silage, or have access to hay, or all three, since mid-November. So I took the normal implants out of the processing cattle box that we carry out there, and I'm going to put in this Ralgro gun, so it's got a smaller implant with a smaller deal for their ear than, so that's, you give a different implant to a calf than we do to a feeder animal. Here's the fly tag that we're going to put on one of their ears, fly control for 5 months. So essentially, hopefully through the fly season, mostly. One thing I'll say about implants is that little piece they're putting in their ear, it's going to raise their weaning weight by possibly 25 pounds. So an extra 25 pounds in 6 months using the same resources. Essentially what we're doing is we cut the bulls so they're not getting testosterone from being a bull, and so they get a different hormone to replace that, so they will gain as much as a bull would, because a bull will wean off more weight than a steer will if left intact, but the implant is a lot better for the animal long term because it won't have the stress of getting castrated and weaned at the same time. So we castrate them early, and then we give them that implant, and then they will wean just as big, which is more profit for the producer, and it's better for the animal. All right, so we got this bunch of calves over here by the feeder. Half the calves are in the pen, and then about a third of the calves are in that shed there. So we're gonna start chasing them in. Picking on some hay. I'm hoping they just follow this fence right alongside to get back with their mama all the way to the gap. Watching little calves run is fun. One. This is their favorite place to hang out. I've refreshed all the straw in there a bunch of times. Come on, little buddies, come on. This one I bottle fed, so it's really tame. For a couple days. It was in the last video. Well, I think that's all of them. We'll count them, but I think that's all of them. So this one that keeps trying to hang out with me, Kaylin named that one Maisie, I think. So it's the only one out here that has a name. One of them's having an identity crisis because the cow number 11 that we have, her calf, or her tag fell out, and I wasn't sure what number cow she was when she first had her calf. So I tagged the calf as number 48 because I knew we didn't have a 48 cow. And now I gotta tag the cow again to match the calf instead of the calf to tag the cow. Go on, follow the herd. Hey, there's a nice pair right there, number 43. Do you want to follow them and I'll get this calf? Oh, one calf that's being a pain back there. Bad. Just don't want those ones to come back out while we're dealing with this one last calf. You got yourself in there, buddy. You can get yourself out. Okay, that part's done. Now we've got to get the calves sorted from the cows so that we can get the calves up in the working pen. The cows we don't have to do much to except for a couple. Just let the cows go by and the calves stay up here. So their birthdays are actually pretty close together, but the bulls that we use are a lot more higher birth weight than the bulls used on the cows that we bought. They were really low birth weight because they're young cows. So that's why their calves they start off smaller by at least 10 pounds. This cow had her calf, the first year we had her in May, and last year she had her calf in April. This year she made it by March 31st, so she's moved up into the breeding period that we want her in calving period, I guess, number 32. Tag on the one ear. We got this on this ear, so it's on the heifer side. So that's only 2 calves left after that one. Come right down the pipe. All right, the last one. Let's see what number is the last one. 59. This one's a bull as well. We gotta cut that one. Okay, here's all the worked calves. But their mama's right on the other side of the fence. That's the mama we had to pull the calf out. But her calf's doing fine, it's in here. So there's all the calves. And we'll get them back together soon. They all just got a little ear piercing this morning. Have our 2 signature red ones. A little more Hereford in them. You get to go to grass soon. You happy about that? So Dad came up to get the hot wire ready, and if you watched the last video, Greg and I did the whole exterior of this pasture. So the hot wire really is just for our paddock grazing, and then the barbed wires around the whole exterior. All right, here's our setup. We got our solar panel facing south. We got our 12-volt battery there, our charger. The fence tested 11.2, which is, that's really good for that setup. And we've got it hooked on going west, we've got it hooked on going east, and we've got it hooked on going this wire south. And this will be the paddock that they're in, the first one they'll start out with. So let's go get the cows. Wow, these ones loaded way better than the first group. They're just going 2 by 2. Good job, cows. All right, there goes Nathan with the first load of cows. Got that trailer backed up for the calves. This is 32. There they all go. There's a dumb one. There you go. Bunch of calves in there. Time for them to find their mamas. Their mamas are over eating grass by the pond. Just got a few more calves to get unloaded out of this trailer. Gotta go out and find their mamas. Nathan brought another load of mamas. And that cow's happy with the grass. They're all going over the hill.
Cows do anything. Well, if you leave them in here until they kind of clean up this old grass, then...
Okay, 5 loads later, and they're all out there. So it was good to see the cows out on the grass. I'll go back out there before chores and make sure they're all in the right paddock and check on them and make sure there's no calves off wandering around that haven't found their moms. And we'll make sure they're good to go, because there's a chance of snow tonight, like 36-degree snow or something, which is really dumb for the day we took them out, but that'll get them out of here so they don't have to deal with the snow in the feed lot. And there's plenty of green grass, even if it is snowing. So, okay, Dad and I, we sorted up a group of grass cattle. We sorted them off of that group. We sorted through a group of about 150. Those are the reject cattle. They'll just be sold as feeder cattle. These ones get the special privilege of going to grass.
Look at that nice set of blacks.
Nice set of blacks, all about the same size. We hope these cattle will sell for a premium in the fall, and we'll be at the perfect weight in August to catch that high part of the market. There's nothing wrong with the quote reject cattle over there, but we just want to get as much premium as we can for our grass cattle, so we sort up to be all blacks. And a lot of these are our fall calves, and then a lot of them are probably purchased cattle that were probably born in May. Some of them might have been born in the fall, but. All right, next step for these is to get a brand and a fly tag. We're just gonna go ahead and try to get it done today, and then we'll put them in a pen that has a hot wire across it, so they're used to a hot wire, so they get used to the paddock hot wire, and then we'll turn them out either tomorrow or Wednesday. So they come through the chute, and Nathan brands them right here, and I get a fly tag just like this, and I put it in there ear opposite. This one actually has 2 tags already because it's one of our fall calves, but there goes Nathan. All right, I came back up. Greg's starting my chores, but I came back up to look at these cows. Hopefully get them counted, and it's gonna be kind of hard to count them when they're not used to following me around to rotationally graze yet, but I'll try that and make sure none of the cows are outside of the fence. Okay, so what I just poured in there, is it upside down? Well, it's upside down both ways, is high magnesium mineral. And so when you turn cows out on especially green grass, when they haven't been on green grass for a while, so generally in the spring, they have a chance to get grass tetany, and the magnesium essentially stops that reaction from happening, keeping them less likely from getting that in the first few days or week of grazing. All right, it did snow. It came down a really wet snow, maybe like the 3-inch snow, and it was melting as it hit the ground. I guess that's what you get for an April 20th snow. So it's basically all gone, as you can see in the yard. The only place that I could find snow was right here on the north side of this shed, and on the north side, any shaded areas. Just a little recap on the video. We're a backgrounding operation, so we buy calves, younger calves, 500, 600 pounds, even down to 400 pounds, and grow them up to 850 pounds or 750 pounds, whatever we're looking at the market, or whether it's heifers and steers. Throughout the whole year, we're doing that at the backgrounding lot there, the feed lot, and different places, either on fields, on crop residue or cover crops, or the feed lot. Or during the summer, we get to do it on grass, which is what a lot of stocker operations would call it, and backgrounders typically do it at a feedlot. And so we do both. We're stocker operators and backgrounders. So sometimes during the year, we're feeding a totally mixed ration in bunks that look like this. The cattle get all their needs met. They actually grow faster. They grow more pounds per day on that ration. But if you turn them out on grass, it's a cheaper mix, or it's a cheaper rate of gain, essentially. You don't put as many expenses in, and they maybe gain 1.5 pounds to maybe 3 pounds per day on grass pasture, versus we can make them gain over 3 pounds a day eating ration, but we shoot for about 2.5 pounds per day eating at the feedlot, eating out of bunks. Eventually, that beef that everyone's doing their best job of producing makes its way through the supply chain, and that's the beef that you guys as consumers get to eat. And so just happy spring, eat beef, and God bless. So thanks for watching, everybody.